Hello, everybody. Wolfang here. It is still November 22nd, Wednesday, Wednesday evening. So, like I said, this is my second video, and I wanted to talk about the 60th anniversary of the assassination of JFK. I find it really interesting because there's so much conspiracy behind it. So this is going to be a little bit of a read. So let's get with it. JFK's assassination, what to know about the president's death 60 years ago. Let's see if I got this set up right. Okay, and I was only 6 months old when this happened. My mom told me I was actually in the hospital because I was a sick baby. And she heard the news. But anyway, on November the 22nd, 1963, President John F. K's assassination shocked the nation. And 60 years later, his death and legacy continues to captivate the country. At the time of his death, Kennedy was the youngest man ever elected president of the United States. The 46-year-old father of two, his daughter Carolyn Kennedy was about to turn 6, and his son John F. Kennedy Jr. was about to turn 3. Was preparing to run for re-election in the 1964, and the November 63 trip to Texas was viewed as an informal kickoff to his campaign. Excuse me. After 2 days, JFK and his wife Jackie planned to visit 5 cities in Texas. On November 21st, 1963, the Kennedys made stops to San Antonio, Houston, and Fort Worth. The following day, the President and First Lady arrived in Dallas shortly before noon. The events that followed on November 22nd, 1963, have become permanently ingrained in American history. JFK was shot and killed by Lee Harvey Oswald as the presidential motorcade drove through downtown Dallas, sending the country into a spiral of shock and devastation. Now, Lee Harvey Oswald is ex-military and was a sharpshooter. So, on November 22nd, 1963, the United States lost its innocence. One eyewitness recalled in 2023 documentary, JFK One Day in America. And while the initial grief over Kennedy's assassination was dissipated, the country continues to be fascinated with his death and 6 decades later. So, what really occurred on that day in history? Here's a closer look at what happened when John F. Kennedy died and the lasting legacy he left behind. How did President John F. Kennedy die? Kennedy was assassinated while traveling in a motorcade through Dallas with his wife Jackie. Texas Governor John Connally and his wife Nellie Connally, if I'm pronouncing her last names right, as their open-topped limousine turned into Deli Plaza in downtown Dallas. Oswald opened fired with a rifle from a 6th-floor window at the Texas School Book Depository. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is because I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there about this whole thing, and that Oswald wasn't alone in this whole thing. So it says Oswald fired 3 shots, 2 of which hit Kennedy. The first bullet struck the president in the back and exited through his throat. And about 5 seconds later, the second delivered what would be a fatal blow to the head, according to the Warren Commission report. The government's official findings on JFK's assassination. And it says, thinking back, I'll never forget those shots. Pow, pow, pow. One eyewitness said in the National Geographic documentary. The motorcade sped to the hospital while Jackie cradling her husband's gravely wounded body in her lap. Clint Hill, the U.S. Secret Service agent assigned to the First Lady, recounted the devastating scene in the documentary. I jumped to the rear bumper, he said. Mrs. Kennedy was screaming, I love you, Jack. The motorcade arrived at Parkland Memorial Hospital, where emergency room doctors attempted to revive the president. But after his condition was deemed hopeless, according to the Warren report, and after a Catholic priest administered last rites, Kennedy was pronounced dead. The autopsy recorded his official cause of death as a gunshot wound to the head. When did President John F. Kennedy die? Oswald shot JFK about 12:30 p.m. Central Time on November 22nd, 1963. Kennedy was officially pronounced dead around 30 minutes later. Where did President John F. Kennedy die? Kennedy was shot while his motorcade was traveling on Elm Street in downtown Dallas. He was officially pronounced dead at Parkland Memorial Hospital, just north of Delhi Plaza. And how old was he? He was 46. Who killed President John F. Kennedy? JFK was shot and killed by Lee Harvey Oswald, a 24-year-old former U.S. Marine originally from New Orleans. Oswald's father died 2 months before he was born. His mother, I'm not even going to say her name, divorced her second husband when Oswald was 9 years old. Psychiatric, I can't say, in juvenile detention, assisted a 12-year-old Oswald and reported that he was emotionally disturbed, according to the House. So Oswald already had issues going on. At 17, Oswald dropped out of high school and joined the U.S. Marines. He was disciplined 3 separate times during his service, and in 1959 obtained a release from the Marines, citing his mother's ill health and financial situation. In September 1959, Oswald defected to the Soviet Union, where he lived for 3 years, attempted to become a citizen, and met his wife, Marina. Oswald and Marina married in 1961 and had their first daughter in February of 1962 and moved to Texas in June of 1962. In March of 1963, he purchased the rifle and telescope sight tool that he would later use to assassinate JFK. In October of the same year, the couple had their second daughter, and Oswald began working at the Texas School Book Depository. Just over a month before he fired 3 shots from the building's 6th floor and killed Kennedy. Okay, so I'm not going to read this whole thing. It is damn interesting, though. It's my whole point of doing this video. It's fascinating to me because there is a lot of conspiracy behind this. FBI was involved. There was so many. There was something going on with Cuba. But Oswald, he shot a police officer. He did some other shit. But the conspiracy on this is he was not alone. There were other people involved. with this shooting. And there is supposedly a mystery bullet. I haven't read the whole story. I've heard bits and pieces. But I'm not really into conspiracy stuff that much. But this one I find really intriguing. Um, I knew from past that there was a lot of people that didn't want Kennedy to be our next president back then. So I don't know. I want you guys to share your thoughts. Whatever. I don't, just share your thoughts and in the comment and let me know what you think. But yeah, it's been 60 years on this date when Kennedy was assassinated. And like I said, I was 6 months old, so of course I don't remember. I only remember my mom telling me that I was in the hospital because I was a sick baby, and they got the news, and it devastated America. It really did. So this is a little bit of history. I'm sure many of you may know about this, but anyway, I wanted to share it. I found it interesting. So this is Wolfang. Have a great Wednesday evening. Blessed be. Stay safe. And I do have something else I want to share, but I'll save that for probably Friday. So, and have a good Thanksgiving. I will do a Thanksgiving video tomorrow. So have fun. Give each other a hug too. I'll see you later. Bye.